Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley and today I'm back with another ASMR video for you. I feel so weird softly speaking, but this is my voice. I don't really do soft spoken too often, but I thought that I would try something different for this video. Personally, I prefer a whispered video, specifically like really close, like I want to feel breath almost in my ears. I know some people like or don't mind soft speaking, so I thought that I would do that today. I don't know. Okay, that's a really long-winded intro. But the other thing I wanted to quickly mention before starting this video, just because I feel weird not mentioning it, today is my birthday. As I film this, it is January 22nd. I am 30. I'm 30 years old today. I'm 30. I'm happy that I'm 30. I don't know. I'm here. I'm 30. What's your zodiac sign? Let me know in the comments down below. I am in Aquarius and sometimes I feel like a Capricorn because I cry a lot. But I'm in Aquarius. I also identify with my zodiac sign a little bit. But yeah, you guys, I don't know. I feel great. I was ready to leave my 20s behind. I learned a lot. I'm so grateful for my 20s, but I'm so excited for my 30s. I know a lot of great things are coming. You see, I already want to cry. And I don't get emotional because I am like sad. I am really happy. Like, I'm really proud of myself for, sometimes I feel like I haven't accomplished anything, but then I look back and I'm like, God damn, I really did. And I have a lot of exciting things coming, and I'm so happy to share that with you all. But this video is not about that. I just really wanted to honestly talk to you guys about some books today. I feel like this is honestly very overdue. I'm posting it like on the 20s something of January. Anyways, yeah, I have a lot of books to get through, so I don't know why I'm talking so much. I just feel rambly. I haven't filmed too much this year. The video you saw last week was pre-recorded, so I just love talking to you guys. Alright guys, I've rambled a lot. I'm gonna get to the books. So in 2024, I read 24 books, which does not seem like a lot. Sometimes I feel like it's kind of lame because all of these creators that I like to watch read so much. But at the same time, like, I read a lot more than I have in years, and I'm really proud of that. So I have a good selection of physical books, and I also have my Kindle. Before anything though, even though it's my birthday today, the 22nd, most importantly, yesterday was Onyx Storm Day. I need to show you my copy. Can we just appreciate? Okay. This is just, it's one of the prettiest books I've ever seen. It is black on top, fades into this like smoky gray. It has dragons and the bottom is white. is just gorgeous. I really hope that y'all were able to get your copy. I was really bummed that I did not get the special edition. I just got the deluxe, and even this was hard to get. I had to drive a lot further than my closer targets, but I'm really happy. I love it. It's so pretty. I haven't finished Iron Flame, but I can't wait. I'm gonna start reading this next month, and it is gorgeous. So alright guys, so I'm gonna get to the books now, and I am just gonna tell you like a little bit about the books that I read this year. I won't go too into depth. I will not read the blurb. I will just tell you like generally what I rated them, which is why I have my Goodreads down here. And then I am just gonna give you a brief description of what I remember of each book. I think that's more fair than like reading the blurb, looking it up. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm just gonna go in order as much as I can. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll actually flip around between the physical and the Kindle books that I read. The first book that I read this year is actually a poetry collection. Okay, so this is Words of a Goat Princess by Jessie Reyes. If you don't know, Jessie Reyes is a singer. She's an artist, and I became obsessed with her whenever I went to the Sam Smith, what was the tour called? Oh my god, I don't remember what the Sam Smith tour is called, but Jessie Reyes opened for Sam Smith, and I just became obsessed with her. This poetry collection, a lot of them made me tear up. It's a great poetry collection. I love her as a lyricist. I did give this book 5 stars on Goodreads. It's very short, so I definitely recommend it if you're looking for some poetry. She's great. The next book I read was The Housemaid by Rita McFadden. This is the first book in, obviously, the Housemaid trilogy, is it? Yeah, trilogy. Look at how ugly this copy is, by the way. I lent it to a friend who took months to read it, and then she gave it to me all ugly back. Anyways, this is The Housemaid. This is about a girl. The main character's name is Millie Calloway, and she is a housemaid. I won't go too much into it, but she starts cleaning for this rich family. She just got out of prison and she's having trouble finding a job. They offer her one with living quarters and everything, so she takes it, and shit goes down from there. Things become really weird. I flew through this book. I feel like this book is the one that got me back into reading because it's such a page turner. I really recommend Rita McFadden. I know she's wildly popular and unpopular for some people, but I will say something about her books is that they are page turners, and in this particular one, I did not see the plot twist, guys. I was not expecting it. I don't know if a lot of people did, but I genuinely was really shocked with the plot twist. I think she's a great author. I gave this book 5 stars because I could not put it down. So that's that one. The next book I'm gonna tap on my Kindle because I read it on my Kindle. This is my Kindle, by the way. These are my current stickers. They're so cute. But the next one I read is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I gave this book 4 stars. This book, genuinely, guys, I cried so much at so many points during this book. It is so sweet. It's just the only reason why I docked a star is because it's heavy on the miscommunication trope, and that is very frustrating to me because I feel like I'm an anxious attachment person and I need to talk about things right away whenever there's a problem. So whenever there was miscommunication, I was just like, talk to each other. Like, it really bothers me. I like the trope, it frustrates me a little bit, but it's an amazing book. I highlighted so many quotes from this. I genuinely loved it. It was my first Emily Henry book, and it was truly phenomenal. I definitely recommend. It is about, just to give you a general idea, Harriet, and I don't remember the guy's name. I want to say it starts with a W. I don't know. But our two main characters, they have broken up, but they're going on a trip with their friends because they have a mutual friend group, and they, during this trip, want to communicate to their friends that after years and years of dating, they've broken up. But obviously there is tension. They still love each other. It's so heavy on the friendship and family issues from both of them that it really hits you. It really hits you how, like, two people can really love each other, but love is not enough. There's a lot of elements that go into a relationship, and there has to be active effort from both sides, and the friendship element is just beautiful. I could go on and on about this book. Happy Place by Emily Henry, 4 stars. And again, I only talked to star because I was so frustrated while reading it, but it's great. I would recommend. Alright guys, so the next book that I read is 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. This book I have talked about on my channel before. A lot of these I have, but this is a book that I rated 4 stars. Another one that I cried a lot in. I will tell y'all what it's about. I'll read a little bit because I don't want to misspeak. It's war-based, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But this is about the events of Afghanistan's last 30 years, from the Soviet invasion to the reign of the Taliban to post-Taliban rebuilding. Okay. In the midst of obviously very sad events, we have our main character Miriam, who has been dealt the shittiest fucking cards from the moment that she was born. To summarize, she was born out of wedlock, so it was very shunned upon that culture. So her father was a very wealthy man who kind of disowned her, but would come to visit her. There was still shame to his family, so he had all these other daughters that were within wedlock, and he would actually, have around. So anyway, he marries her off very, very young. I think she's like 14 when he marries her off, and her husband ends up being a very physically abusive man. I know women were regarded differently at the time in this culture, and it's just very sad to see what she goes through. And from start to finish, she's dealt the worst cards in life. I cried a lot. It's an amazing book though. I gave it 4 stars, and I do recommend. The next book that I read is also a physical book. This is Illegal by Francisco X. Stork. This book is about a guy who illegally crosses over to the United States. This has like talk of the border and just, mentions things like Ciudad Juarez, El Paso, just places that I'm familiar with, that I, have close to my heart. So in that sense, this book was relatable. I come from parents who were at one point immigrants, and it's very sad to read about things that people with immigrant parents and just immigrants go through. For that reason, I would say this book was okay. However, I did give this book a 2-star rating. I just simply could not get into the story, guys. Again, the theme was very appealing, it was very relatable, but the story was not told well. I'm not a fan of the author's writing. Unfortunately, I had high hopes, but 2 stars for this one. I don't really recommend. So the next book that I read is another physical book. This is Don't Look by Alexandra Ivy. So this book I gave 2 stars as well on Goodreads. I genuinely don't even remember the characters' names, but I just know the general theme. I don't remember a lot of details about it, so I can tell you it's basically about a girl who moves back, into a town where she grew up with her dad. Her dad passed away at that point. She meets some guy. They have some weird romance tension thing that is not even expanded on that much. It just feels like a surface level lust, which there's nothing wrong with, but it wasn't to a point where you invested that much. Anyways, it turns out there's some guy that's killing random women in this small town, and they're basically trying to investigate who, because it's interconnected with like her dad. It did end up being somebody that I didn't really expect, so it was okay. Would I recommend it? No. Was I super engaged? No, but it was okay. It was just a 2. The next book that I read this is a book from my Kindle. This is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I will say this, guys. I'm looking at my Goodreads rating and it looks like 4 stars. I would bump that down. I'm bumping it down right now. This is a 3-star for me. I would say it's about a 3.5 because I thought at the time that I read it that it was just amazing. Thought at the time that it was like amazing storytelling and world building and whatnot. I'll tell you later on why I changed my opinion. It was engaging. I liked the elements of magic and like fantasy in this. I thought it was good in that sense. I see why people who have read a bit more fantasy don't love it. I've also, heard the allegations of plagiarism and all of that, and I don't appreciate that, obviously. So yeah, but at the time I had given it like 4.5 to 5 stars. I would give it like a 3.5 now, but I would say it's enjoyable. If you're not really like a fantasy reader, I would say it's a good beginner, and you'll be like into it, I think. So, and I guess to tell you what it is, I would recommend it. And to give you a quick overview, it is about a girl. Her name is Peyton, and she is a non-magical person in this world that values magical people. So if you are a person who does not have a magical ability, you would basically be like kicked out of the town. You're not an elite, you're not royal. So Peyton was taught very young by her father how to basically make it seem like she reads minds, and she was also trained in combat, so she's a very good fighter. She is believable enough to be like a person who reads minds. There comes a point in this book where she accidentally saves like the prince of their world, and she gets put into these trials where you basically fight to the death, obviously, to survive. And yeah, there's elements of romance as well. So the first one is definitely my favorite in this duology. I do think it's a duology, but okay. So after Powerless, I read Powerful. This is book like 1.5. It's the novella. It's the novella of Between Powerless and Reckless, which is the second book. So Powerful is about Peyton's best friend. I forget her name, and I really like her. Oh fuck, Adina, I think is her name. So Adina is a very powerful being, but she lives where Peyton lives. I don't know, she kind of humble like that, I guess. But yeah, she's able to, what do you call it, like go through walls, like where you can flash from one wall to the other side of the wall. That's what she can do. And Powerful is about like basically Powerless through Adina's perspective. And I thought it was really cute, honestly. I really liked the expansion of her character. I really liked the romance element. I thought it was sweet. I really love her, the fact that she's not like trained in combat. She's just, you know, the friend and the kind heart in the book. I really appreciated that. And I gave it 3 stars, which I would keep. It's a good book. The next book I read is Archer's Voice. You can tell I liked it. But this is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. And this book I gave 4 stars on Goodreads. It is very popular on TikTok. If you know, you know. It is about our main character, Archer. And he meets this girl. I think her name is Bree. She moves into a small town and she meets Archer. And Archer is mute. He obviously cannot talk, but he's kind of like the small town like recluse, is that the right word? Like he keeps to himself and people know that he went through some kind of tragedy. But after that accident he stopped talking. It's basically about Bree trying to get Archer out of his shell. Their love is very, very sweet. Yeah, it's a very sweet romance. It's sad. I did cry in this book, not as much as the other ones, but I did cry. And yeah, I gave it 4 stars. I do recommend. It's a really cute, sweet love story. This is the next books I'm going to talk about are the rest of the Housemate series. So this is the Housemate Secret, which is book 2 of the Housemate series. Then we have the Housemates Wedding, which is book 2.5, or the novella between 2 and 3. And then I read The Housemate is Watching, which is book 3 of the trilogy. I'll start with The Housemate's Secret. So I gave this one a 4-star rating. This was about the same main character, Millie Calloway, and she is still doing, so I don't want to give you spoilers, but we'll keep it spoiler free. But The Housemate's Secret is about her continuing the work that she does in The Housemaid, and this I gave 4 stars. The Housemates Wedding is obviously about Millie Calloway's wedding to one of the characters that you do see in books 1 and 2. I will not say which one, but this book, I don't know how much I rated it actually. I rated it 2 stars because I thought it was really unnecessary. Like, you literally do not have to read this because it has nothing to do with anything, and it's not even that sweet of a wedding story. It's just, it could have done without. Next I have The Housemaid is Watching for, The Housemaid is Watching, I rated 3 stars. So The Housemaid is Watching is about, she's no longer doing the work that she does in book 1 or 2, but this is about her and her husband and her kids. They move into this house where a neighbor starts acting kind of weird, and she digs into her past to kind of, you know, get that resolved. So 3 stars. and I did like it. I thought it was okay. Not as good as 1 or 2, but I thought it was good. I also read Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is book 2 of the Powerless series. I don't know. But this book I gave 3 stars. This book is about, to not give you spoilers, it's about Peyton being chased down basically by the king for something that she does in book 1. And it's just about her chase, trying to get her captured. That's all I'll say. And I rated it 3 stars. I will say Reckless is a book that it just kept going in circles. Like, I kept like thinking that I was reading the same thing over and over each chapter. It was just not that engaging, so not my favorite, but it was just okay. So next, I read the Part of Your World series, which are these 3. They are interconnected standalones. I believe it's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and then Just for the Summer. So I will start with the first. The first and my personal favorite is Part of Your World. These are all by Abby Jimenez. They're interconnected standalones, so you obviously can read them separately, but they have little elements of each other in each book. This follows Alexis and Daniel. They are our main characters. Alexis, as you can tell from the cover, is a city girl. He is a country boy. They end up crossing paths somehow, and this book is all about their romance and how they're so different, but they just, have a love that grows between them. It has such real world elements. They both do. They both have real world elements. I related to her a lot because she dealt with a narcissist and she's dealing with the effects from healing of that. And he is honestly like he's probably like my ultimate book boyfriend as of now. I love him. He is like, this makes me want to read like cowboy romances because it was so good. I just loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I cried in multiple parts. It was just amazing. The next book is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This follows Josh and I think her name's Bri as well. Brianna. So this is about Josh and Bri, obviously, and it has fake dating elements. So Josh is constantly pressured by his family because he doesn't have a girlfriend. He deals a lot with like anxiety and things like that, and Bri's kind of more outgoing and not shy, things like that, gets him out of his shell. So accidentally he kind of gets Bri to like fake date him. Something happens where he just accidentally strings her along and she's like, yeah, I'm down, let's do it, let's fake date. Obviously it's a romance, they fall in love. So it is called Yours Truly because Josh deals a lot with anxiety. I've heard a lot of people say it, but this book does have a great anxiety representation. Just the way he overthinks, you wouldn't understand unless you have anxiety. So I really appreciated Bri's respect towards Josh's anxiety. She just caters to what he needs in that sense, not even as a romantic partner, but as a friend. And I thought that was very admirable. I did rate this book 4 stars though. Although it was amazing, it was not like Part of Your World to me, but it does also deal with really real world elements. I will say if you're an older sibling, you will relate to both of them a lot. I think that it's really good. I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. Alright, next we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and this follows our main characters whose name I do not remember. But basically they start dating just for a summer because she accidentally like posts that they both have this like curse where the people they date, as soon as they break up with them, they find their one true love. And he kind of responds to her and he's like, hey, me too, that shit happens to me too. And they were like, if only we were together so we could date each other. Well, turns out she's a traveling nurse, and she's like, hey, why don't I travel to where you are and we just date each other, and then when we break up we're gonna find our true love because we both have the curse. They do exactly that. They start dating each other, and they do I'm sure you know what happens, but they fall in love after fake dating or like going on a few dates. I will say this looks like a cute summary cover, but again, I love that Abby Jimenez does this, but she deals with real world elements and you really have to be in the mental space for them. They both deal with like parental issues, and it is just relatable, sad, it makes you cry, it makes you laugh. It was an amazing book, and I rated it 4 stars as well because nothing compares to Part of Your World to me. So this is The Butcher Game by Elena Urquhart. This is a second book in a duology ? I don't know if she's gonna like write more, but this is basically, I won't explain too much because you would have to know about the first one. It's about a serial killer who he is very like deranged, obviously, but just he has like this OCD element about him where he's like clean and tidy. Also, he's a serial killer. He's after this one girl, basically, like, think of it like Michael Myers, like he didn't get to kill her, so now he's just after her constantly. The twist is she is a forensic pathologist, I think is what it's called. She like dissects people. What do you call it? Like when people die and you cut them open, she does that. So what's cool is Elena, she is the host of a podcast called Morbid, and she actually is a forensic pathologist. There's a lot of knowledge in this book that you get from a first person experience because she does that for a living. So I just think it's really cool to kind of get that perspective. And I really liked this book. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a great second book. You know, book 2 is not always the greatest, but I thought this was really good. So the next book I read was You Again by Kate Goldbeck. At first I rated it pretty highly, but I kept a 3-star because I was invested. It took me a long time to read, so I guess I was not that invested. But it's about this girl and this guy, and as I think about it, like, I want to bump it down. It's a romance about, I really wanted to read it for the bisexual element. She's bisexual, she dates obviously girls and guys, and I liked that representation, but she's just so insufferable as a character. Like, she tries to be this like, oh, like, I never get ready, like, I'm always so like my hair in a bun and I always wear sweats and I don't care about how I look, you know what I mean? It's just so annoying. And then he's so like prim and proper, like, oh, I'm always wearing a black suit, I want to be a chef and all of this. Anyways, they cross paths at one point and in multiple points in life, and they date respectively, like apart, they keep bumping into each other, and yeah, that's kind of what the book is about. It was underwhelming. It was not the best, but I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I did try to reread Harry Potter this year, but then I realized that I would rather read other books before I reread that. I gave it 5 stars. Harry Potter is nostalgic to me. I won't tell you what it's about because I'm sure you know. It's wildly popular, but it is book 1 in the Harry Potter series, and I gave it 5 stars. Next book that I read is The Replacement by Brenna Yovanov. I gave this book 3 stars, and this was about basically a guy who, he lives in this town, right? And he is a replacement. But what happens is, like, as kids, they get stolen and they get replaced by basically a replica of themselves. They're not entirely human, they look a little bit different, but nobody questions why or what's happening. So that really captured my interest, and even now as I repeat it, I think it's really interesting. I don't think there's a book like it. I really I like the dark, morbid element as you read it. I gave it 3 stars because I don't think the storytelling was the best. I don't think the author was the best. But I do think it deserves recognition for the unique concept and for the imagery in this book. I thought it was pretty cool. So, 3 stars. Next book I read was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. This book I gave 4 stars on Goodreads. And this book is about our main character. I forget her name, but she has a best friend. Actually, that's her, I think. That's her best friend who obviously gets possessed. They go to like this forest where they're having like this little party, and the friend runs off and ends up going to this like murky shack where she gets possessed or something. It's so 80s, like the vibe you see here is reflected throughout the entire book. There's a lot of 80s movie references. There's a lot of the vibe, like the vibe is just there, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty creepy too at some parts. I really think that this was a great book and I would definitely recommend it. There's not much more plot other than like her best friend is possessed and she's trying to get her liberated or whatever, but I still think it's worth the hype for the vibes, and the storytelling was also great. So 4 stars for this one. Next book I read was November 9th. Oh, I like how this one sounds. This is November 9th by Colleen Hoover. And this follows our main character, whose name I do not remember. I'm really bad with names. She ends up meeting this guy at a restaurant. So she was famous at one point, right? But then she went through this house fire and burned, like, I think it's like 70% of her body. She's like very visibly scarred through her face and just, you know, everywhere. She meets this guy at a restaurant, and they kind of hit it off somehow. I won't say too much, but they start building this connection right in their first meeting. And she's like, you know what, I'm actually gonna move like soon because I'm gonna pursue like acting in New York. And he's like, oh shit, like I just met this girl, she's really cool, but she's moving. So they decide to meet every November 9th every year for 5 years, just go on one date for a full day, and then if after that they're still not with anyone, like they would try to pursue something together. So the concept is really cute. I like that she still like followed her dreams, and so did he, you know. And yeah, you just kind of follow them as they go through their dates. Every November 9th you discover a plot twist in the story, and it's a very sweet book. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't think it was bad at all. I just didn't think it was great either, but it's very cute, and I think it's a good short read, so I would recommend it. So the next book that I read was on my Kindle, and this is a short story called Cruel Winter with You by Ellie Hazelwood. I gave this book 3 stars. It is a Christmas short story. It follows 2 main characters whose name I don't remember, but she basically she goes to ask for like a guy for a pen or something. She asks like her ex, she goes to her ex's house, and it's like the middle of a storm, and she's like, hey, we're having dinner and I need a pen or something like that. And he's like, okay, come in, and there's like a storm or whatever. And then you kind of see like their background story and their history and the reason why there's tension and all of this. And it ended up being a very sweet story. I actually did tear up a bit, which I thought was cool, like, because I'd never read an Ellie Hazelwood story, so this made me want to read more of her books, because I was just like, it was a great read, and this was just in like 75 pages, so I'm sure with the full-length book it's much better. But I recommend it. 3 stars for the short story. It's the last and final book, and just a fucking kick I've been on, is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is the first book in the Empyrean series, and it is pretty thick. I rated Fourth Wing 5 stars. I could blab and blab and blab about this book. I will tell you the general premise. I will tell you that this book, I was iffy on reading because a lot of people love it, but a lot of people hate it. And this made me realize that I need to read books that I rule off because people hate them. Because this like changed me, like legitimately changed me. Like, I haven't been this invested in a story, genuinely, okay, since like my days where I read like Hunger Games, like Twilight and things like that. And I mean that in the best way. And the writing is not juvenile the way that if I were to reread those books, I would probably think it's juvenile if I reread those books. This is genuinely amazing. I really loved this book. Like, I cannot say enough. I was so invested. I felt like I was there. I want to know more and more and more about this world. I'm reading book 2, and I showed y'all Onyx Storm, which is book 3. It's just phenomenal. You have the main character, Violet Sorringale. She gets put into, well, her mom is the general of this like war-based college and like world, right? She's like the top dog. She's top dog. But Violet was always trained to be a scribe, which is like a historian. She has her sister Mira, who was trained as a dragon rider, and she herself was going to be a scribe. She was going to be a historian. So the mom is like, I'm not going to have a daughter as a scribe. You're going to be a writer as well. And she is like this short, frail girl who everybody's like, you're gonna fucking die. It is basically about her going to Basgiath War College to train to be a writer, where she was always trained to be a historian. There are dragons, there's magic, there is lust, there's sex, there's drama, there's romance, there is high stakes. The dragons talk. They don't talk. That was like a turn off for me when I heard that. They talk to you like telepathically. There's an air, like an aura of mystery to the dragons there. Just intense fantasy elements. Like, it is such a roller coaster. I love it so much, you guys. I cannot say enough. If you've been thinking about reading Fourth Wing, please do it. I can't imagine why people don't like it. Like, I'm like 200 pages into Iron Flame, and then I'm gonna read Onyx Storm, and I'm so excited. But 5 stars. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I'm sorry if it is a little bit long, but I hope that you enjoyed it. I enjoyed filming it and talking to you guys about books. I do want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I had a really fun time filming it. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if you prefer soft-spoken videos like this one. I feel like I got kind of excited and spoke a little bit louder, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you check out some of these books. A lot of great reads in 2024, and I will continue reading in 2025 and posting videos about it. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what book you're currently reading. I would love to know. I would like to know what's your favorite book if you have one. I'm always looking for new ones. So yeah, thank you so much for watching again. I appreciate you so much. And like I always say, thank you so much for watching. And also thank you so much for being here. I'm so very happy that you're here, and not just here watching this video, but just here in the world surviving another day. I'm so very, very, very proud of you. I'm always thinking of you. And I hope that you have an awesome rest of your day or your night. I will see you in my next video.